For years, Alison Victoria was one of the most recognizable faces on HGTV, known for her bold design choices and confident presence on Windy City Rehab. Viewers watched as she transformed historic Chicago properties into stunning modern homes, often worth millions of dollars, and her straightforward style made her feel relatable despite the luxury scale. On screen, Alison appeared decisive, creative, and fully in control, someone who thrived under pressure and loved the challenge of restoring complex spaces. The show quickly became a success, drawing audiences who admired both the finished homes and the fast-paced renovation process. Yet television rarely shows the full picture. Behind the polished episodes and dramatic reveals was a business operating under real-world constraints, deadlines, and legal responsibilities. What looked effortless on screen required coordination between design, construction, finances, and compliance, areas that would later place Alison at the center of an unexpected and exhausting professional storm. The success of Windy City Rehab. When Windy City Rehab premiered in early 2019, it quickly stood out within the home renovation genre. The series combined architectural preservation with contemporary design, showcasing Alison's signature black and white aesthetic and her ability to reimagine aging properties. Her partnership with contractor Donovan Ehart was presented as a balance of creativity and construction expertise, giving viewers confidence that each project was handled collaboratively. The chemistry between them added to the show's appeal, making the renovations feel dynamic rather than routine. For Alison, the program marked a major career milestone, elevating her from designer to television personality and producer. With rising popularity came increased expectations, larger budgets, and more complex builds. Each project carried not only creative ambition, but also significant financial and logistical risk. While the early episodes emphasized progress and success, the realities behind the scenes soon proved far more complicated than television could neatly resolve. When professional challenges emerged, as the show gained traction, behind-the-scenes challenges began to surface that shifted the public narrative dramatically. Construction delays, permit concerns, and compliance issues tied to renovation projects became part of broader discussions surrounding the business operations involved. Alison later stated that many of these technical and regulatory matters were outside her direct design role, yet as a public-facing partner and co-producer, she found herself closely associated with the fallout. What had once been a creative collaboration now became a stressful environment filled with uncertainty. On-screen moments began to reflect real tension, with Alison openly expressing frustration and confusion as projects stalled. For viewers, this was a rare look at how quickly control can slip away in high-stakes renovation work. The experience marked a turning point, transforming the show from a design-driven success story into a lesson about how vulnerable even established professionals can be when systems break down. Legal pressure and financial consequences. The professional strain soon extended into legal territory, bringing an emotional and financial toll that Alison later described as overwhelming. As disputes related to completed homes emerged, she became involved in legal proceedings connected to her business role. While details were handled through formal legal channels, Alison publicly acknowledged that resolving these matters required significant personal resources. She chose to contribute her own money toward repairs and resolutions, explaining that protecting her reputation and standing by homeowners mattered deeply to her. This decision came at a steep cost, draining savings she had built over many years in television and design. Rather than distancing herself, Alison faced the consequences head-on, a choice that reshaped both her finances and outlook. The period forced her to reevaluate how much risk she was willing to carry, and underscored how quickly professional success can be challenged when accountability and trust are tested simultaneously. A partnership comes to an end. As pressures mounted, the professional relationship at the heart of Windy City Rehab ultimately dissolved. The separation marked more than the end of a business partnership. It symbolized a complete shift in Alison's career direction. What followed was not a public battle of words, but a quiet disentangling from a structure that no longer served her goals or values. Television viewers noticed the change immediately, as later episodes reflected Alison working independently, navigating projects without a fixed partner. For her, the decision was rooted in self-preservation and clarity, not conflict. She recognized that continuing under the same model carried risks she could no longer afford. Ending the partnership allowed her to regain control, even though it meant rebuilding credibility and stability from a difficult position. The transition was painful but necessary, laying the groundwork for a more deliberate and carefully managed future, rebuilding through a new approach. After stepping away from the earlier structure of Windy City Rehab, Alison focused on redefining how she worked rather than walking away from television altogether. The later seasons reflected a clear shift, emphasizing client-based renovations instead of speculative real estate investments. This adjustment allowed her to concentrate on design and project oversight without bearing unnecessary financial exposure. By assembling new teams and narrowing her role, Alison regained confidence and consistency. Off-screen, she addressed financial losses pragmatically, including selling personal property to stabilize her situation. Rather than viewing these moves as setbacks, she framed them as part of a reset. Letting go of past symbols of success helped her move forward without emotional weight. This period was less about public redemption and more about internal alignment, choosing sustainability over speed. Through careful restructuring, Alison demonstrated that rebuilding does not require starting over, only starting smarter. Personal loss and perspective. Amid professional recovery, Alison faced a deeply personal loss that reshaped her priorities. The passing of her father occurred during a period already filled with stress, legal concerns, and uncertainty. She later shared that this moment forced her to slow down and reassess what truly mattered. Grief stripped away the pressure to appear strong at all times, allowing her to acknowledge exhaustion and vulnerability. Rather than pushing through, she chose to scale back, prioritize health, and protect her emotional well-being. This shift marked a quiet but powerful turning point. Alison stopped measuring progress by output alone and began valuing balance and intention. The experience grounded her, reinforcing that success without stability carries little meaning. In stepping away from constant momentum, she found clarity. Personal loss, though painful, ultimately reshaped how she approached both her career and her sense of self moving forward. A strategic turn toward independence. With renewed focus, Alison transitioned into entrepreneurship on her own terms. She established an independent design studio, allowing her full control over branding, client selection, and project execution. This move represented a clear break from earlier models tied to television-driven timelines. Her work now centers on transparent contracts, manageable scopes, and design-led collaboration. Television appearances became selective, emphasizing professional expertise rather than personal narrative. By limiting exposure and choosing projects carefully, Alison reduced risk while strengthening her credibility within the industry. She expanded her footprint beyond Chicago, applying lessons learned to new markets with a structured, disciplined approach. This phase of her career reflects maturity gained through experience rather than ambition alone. No longer defined by partnership or controversy, Alison emerged as a solo operator with clarity of purpose, proving that reinvention is often most effective when guided by restraint and long-term vision. Balance, growth, and looking ahead. Today, Alison Victoria represents a different version of success than the one audiences first encountered. Her focus has shifted from constant visibility to meaningful work, from proving resilience to living it quietly. She maintains a presence in design and television while protecting her personal life with intention. Relationships, health, and creative fulfillment now sit alongside professional goals rather than beneath them. Alison no longer frames challenges as obstacles to overcome publicly, but as experiences that inform better decisions privately. Her journey illustrates that rebuilding is not about erasing the past, but learning from it without being defined by it. As she continues forward, her career reflects balance rather than spectacle, expertise rather than drama. Alison's story is not one of downfall, but of recalibration, a reminder that longevity often belongs to those willing to pause, reassess, and choose sustainability over speed.